Next up, we're going to shift into technology, and Rohini Sengupta from United Airlines, the Director of Decarbonization, is joining to lead this quick discussion as well with her two panelists. Maybe just one. Oh, no, we have two.
Yeah, I was going to say, if my panelists could please join me. Everyone, thank you. As Haldane said, Rohini Sengupta, Decarbonization Director at United Airlines. And at United, as with the industry, we have our net zero goal by 2050. As was touched on earlier, as Nancy said, we've got a basket of measures where we're looking to reduce the fuel we use, right? So we've talked about markets that are nascent, that need to be developed, but this is an area where the industry has a history of leadership, of innovating, of making more efficient aircraft and aircraft operations for customers like me. So joining me on the panel today, I've got representatives from our original equipment manufacturers, our OEMs, Roger Martella, Chief Sustainability Officer at GE, as well as Stefan Albert, the ICAO Executive Liaison and SAF Lead at Pratt & Whitney. And so in the interest of efficiency and technology efficiency, I will say Roger has to head off to another engagement quite soon. So if I could hand it over to you to begin, Roger, before you have to depart, really sort of what are some of the exciting developments you're seeing, particularly in technology investment, advancements, innovation, to increase efficiency in air travel today?
Well, Rohini, thank you very much, and Stefan, thank you for accommodating me. I'll have to go here in just a few minutes, and hi, everyone. It's nice to see you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here on behalf of GE. And Rohini, I want to pick up on something you said in your opening remarks, which is kind of how united this sector is towards net zero and the role of technology. Everyone has the same ambition, and where does technology come into play in realizing that ambition? And you know, I've been here for a week now, and because GE is such a diverse company, I've been interacting with all kinds of people all over the place on many different topics. And one of the things I think is very differentiator for the aviation sector is exactly what you were talking about, that of everyone I've spoken to, of everywhere I've been, everybody's debating everything, which is good. But I've always believed, and I think COP28 reinforces, that this sector is the most united, the most together when it comes to the net zero ambition, whether you're an OEM, whether you're a customer, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're a supplier of infrastructure. This sector is a united front. And I think that's serving us very well together, and we all have different ways in terms of how we can contribute that solution to get to net zero. So our role is to be the innovator of the technology. This is some of the world's most complicated technology, as you know well, and there's only a few companies, I think 2 of them are up here, that are in a position to help innovate the technology the world needs to help everyone else realize these net zero ambitions. So the way we think about it, I mean, let's talk about sustainable aviation fuel for a second. We're big proponents of SAF. We're huge cheerleaders for SAF. Our engines have run on SAF since like 2006. We've done 100% SAF flights, including on Emirates. And so SAF, we know, is a critical component, and we're going to accommodate all of our customers, all of our airlines, in making sure we can get our engines to 100% SAF so they're ready for you. But we also think we have to do more. We think we owe it to you to do more. We don't want to just leave you with that option. We want to give you as many options as possible. So we have a program called CFM Rise. And what this is a commitment to bring in a diverse range of technologies and innovation, things that we're not currently doing today, but we want to be doing in the future, so that we can achieve an additional 20% reduction in fuel and a 20% reduction in emissions. So what that does is enables you to use SAF, but it also helps you get further depending on how you want to go with it. And the CFM Rise program has a number of different technologies that are part of the equation. Some of them you can see, and some of them are kind of more behind the scenes. The one that's most interesting to me is the ones you can see, and this particular is our open fan technology, where we're innovating a lot for an engine technology that will literally have open fans, and the theory there and what we're showing is you reduce the drag, you reduce the weight, and I'm excited when that day comes. When I go to the airport, I come up and I see an airplane waiting outside for me with the open fans outside, and we're really excited, we're really ambitious about that and the opportunities there. So that's some of the technology you can see. But just as important is what happens behind the scenes. So things like compact core, hydrogen fuels, sustainable aviation fuel, hybrid electric engines, and looking at a full suite of how we can continue to innovate to get to that 20%, to give you that optionality beyond sustainable aviation fuel. We all know, and you know better than I do, the long-term life cycle of products in this industry, the need to focus on safety, the need to solve for the laws of physics. So none of this happens fast. But you just can't start in 2030 to introduce a technology in 2031. So what's super exciting to me is what we're doing in the labs today in anticipation of the next generation of technology. We're not waiting. We're doing this now. So we have 1,000 people working on the CFM RISE program. They've produced 100 parts from paper to parts, and now we're taking those parts, integrating them into subsystems, starting to integrate them into systems. We're learning some things. We're doing some things right. We're making mistakes, and that's just as important because that's what enables us to get to these 2030 goals and so on and beyond. So I'll just end. First of all, thank you for the accommodation on the time here. I really appreciate it. I'll just end with where I started. We know COP28 is historic, but I think it's a historic moment for this sector because while everyone's debating, and debating is good, I want to be clear, I'm part of those debates. I love the debates. This sector is different because it's such a unified front, and to have these discussions, we know where we want to go. We don't have to debate that. And the question is, how do we get there? I think that's a real differentiator and something that we can all be really proud of, and we're proud of the role that we play in working with everyone here to be part of that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you for joining us today. Let's thank Roger as he heads off to his next engagement. And like I said, it's an exercise in efficiency in real time here. So, Stefan, a true fireside chat here. Stefan, same question. What is exciting to you, particularly in the world of aerospace technology, of aircraft technology, and the efficiency improvements yet to be made in the sector, particularly through technology?
So first of all, thank you very much. It's an honor to be at this COP28. I think also I want to extend the thank to not only Haldane, I know he's going to get a lot of thank yous, but for not just a month, for the last years of his dedication to making sure that we as a community come together. And I can't reinstate the fact that getting 190 plus countries to agree is the most difficult part. And again, Haldane and the team, I don't think I could achieve that. Now, let's take a step back. We're going to talk about SAF a lot, but we have to look, we talk about technology here. What is aerospace technology? The first one, efficiency. Efficiency, efficiency. At our core, for 60 plus years, since the jet age, and I'm reusing Boeing CSO titles, we're 84 to 86% reduction. More than cars, more than buses. So it's very important to keep in mind that we as an industry, it was cost related before, but it benefited the environment. So we have to still give ourselves credit that as a industry, safe, reliable, cost effective, and at the same time that we've reduced our footprint. The problem is that we're in an 80-20 rule. I have to say that it was 20% of the work to do 80% of the reduction, and the last 20% is going to be the 80% problem, because we've made engines that are very efficient today. I'm Pratt and Pratt Candos. I represent both divisions. 94,000 engines year after year are in operation. Right? So you have to keep in mind that when I look at efficiency, I look at it from the single engine helicopter to the twin aisle. So I have to have technology steps in each of the different market segments. Technology, so where are we today? I'm going to really focus on SAF, but give you an idea of the 5 pillars that our industry as a whole, and Haldane had really well identified in different documents from ATAG. Efficiency, SAF, 100% electric aviation, which is still challenging in the larger aircraft, but it's going to take a space into the market. Hybrid electric battery, hydrogen, and then fuel cells. So we have these different pillars. And the problem that we have today is that we have to invest and focus in every one of those pillars. And I think, earlier, I think the key message is we have to keep all of these options open. We know that hydrogen is going to be a very big challenge in the future to carry on the airplane. There's less to burn it. We can actually do hydrogen burn today in our engines. So I think the bigger question now is where the ecosystem will be and where will it actually be distributable and flyable. So that's one other part. So hydrogen will play a very important role. Not sure it's going to be on the flying side. It may be on the support to the SAF industry. So that's still a debate. So we talked 100% electric. Very difficult with the density of the batteries today to fly a very large aircraft on electric. Not improbable, but with the battery density, we're going to have to see step changes in that type of transformation. Before I forget, I do have to talk about efficiency, again, at our DNA core. And what you're seeing, RISE is a clear example, GTF is another example. These are generational engines. You don't get every year a % or two. You squeeze maybe a % or two through the whole efficiency drive, but then you have these generational engines that come in and do a 20% or 15% reduction. They cost a lot of money. The R&D required in order to achieve a propulsion system, it's not anymore just an engine, it's the whole system itself. It's quite complex. So when we look at what's exciting today, definitely the excitement is all of those are happening at different speed, at different segments of the market. We as a propulsion company have focused on efficiency SAF and some hybrid electric in the short term, and then research programs to support hydrogen. I think fuel cells are going to be a little bit more of a challenge, and that's going to take a little bit longer before we get to that next phase. Never been certified, so we have to look at it from the EASA perspective, FAA. They have to certify all these new technologies. So their challenge, they didn't have 150 new employees to do all the new technologies. They're running on about the same type of employees before, and they have to shift between the normal engine certification and the new technologies, which is another issue. So, did you want to skip to your other question? Because I've been talking too quickly.
Well, maybe we'll do a final one, because I think you touched on something very interesting, right? There are step changes to be made in efficiency gains through the generational development that happens in new models as they come out. I'm buying a lot of aircraft today. Thank you. And I see Mark over here as well, so thank you. So with our aircraft order, I mean, these aircraft, these engines, will be in service for quite some time. So what advancements, what technology research, what are sort of the methods to increase efficiency, to fly more efficiently, to reduce fuel usage with assets that we're buying now that will be in our fleet in 10, 15, 20 years from now?
So I think we're Raytheon today, or RTX, right? So basically we are a merge of United Technologies and Collins. Amal was here earlier. Collins plays an important role in the operation, air traffic management, putting the aircraft on a diet, basically making the aircraft lighter, more efficient. So we have two sides of the business, the ones that work on the operation and the aircraft, and us, the propulsion. So the nice thing is that we are now in one company and we're able to cooperate at the Raytheon level now, or the RTX level. Hybrid electric, it's our combustor turbine machine with a Collins motor. So we're starting to connect these dots together. It's going to take a while. 165,000 employees, large corporation. It's going to take a period of time before we integrate all these technologies into brand new solutions. I think what's more important, 94,000 engines. It's a cog, right? It's a big wheel that turns. And engines come into service, come out of service. Problem that we have is we have very dependable engines. So dependable that they will last 45 to 50 years. We're one of the cleanest industry, by the way. We're not the cars where you throw away the cars every 10 years. Right? These things last for a very long time, airplanes and the engines and the rest of the systems. So the biggest challenge is, when are you going to be able to insert? When do they become in the fleet? When do they come out to be replaced by the new efficient aircraft? So from a propulsion standpoint, the biggest challenge today is maybe policy. In Europe, they're talking about, could they put tax incentives or benefits to switch airplane in the current fleet model to 18 years instead of 26 years? So could there be incentive to actually retire an airplane before its normal midlife upgrade, we call it, and be able to maybe divert it to another market and then be able to use that airplane quicker, that new generation of airplane. So I think it's a mix of the process, the procedure, how quickly customers want to green. The technology is there, but it's not, again, we're not going to see generational leaps. And I have 46 seconds. SAF, 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 SAF. We have to be honest as an industry in all the reports, and I think it's clear, sustainable aviation fuel, whatever pathways, all the 7, the 9, the 10, whatever it is, we need volume at an affordable price and to be able to deploy this. You know, the Middle East here, key to this whole solution. We really need to see leadership because that's going to be where we want to have here the oil majors to come in and support the innovators as Gevo, Neste, and Environt and World Energy, because that's going to be part of the whole ecosystem requirement.
Well, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I think that concludes our discussion on efficiency through technology. I think there's a lot of promise, really, in the advancements in the industry, and particularly the leadership that's shown to date to help us achieve our goals. Thank you.